And I was like, hey, I want to run track. And he was like, you can, but you have to run cross country. And I'm just like, what? Those are two different things. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new, I'm Shayla, and if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. So let's talk about my fitness journey. I feel like this is something that I have not talked about on my channel, only because, okay, I'll be very honest. I kind of feel like my journey isn't the most drastic transformation that you've ever seen. And I feel like when I do watch my fitness journey videos, they tend to be very drastic changes, like physical, whether it's people gaining weight or losing weight or whatever the case may be. And I was talking to one of my colleagues and I was like, yeah, I was thinking about recording my fitness journey video, but I don't feel like my transformation has been big enough. I don't know. And I remember him asking me, he's like, why is that? And I explained it. He was like, well, no, I think you should share that because some people might be in the same boat as you, where, their transformation is also more mental, it's a mindset change versus just the physical. So with that being said, that is what I want to talk about today is the phases that I've gone throughout my fitness journey, but also how my mindset has shifted from the time that I started my fitness journey all the way until today. So I've been on my fitness journey for, oh my goodness, for almost 12 years or something like that. So when I was in high school, I ran track. I wanted to actually do sports prior to high school, but I wasn't able to. So the second I got to high school, I remember seeing the track and field coach and I was like, hey, I want to run track. And he was like, you can, but you have to run cross country. And I'm just like, what? Those are two different things. And he was like, well, all of our athletes, they run year round. You start with cross country, then you have to do indoor track, and then you have to do outdoor track, and then you have to do AAU, and then repeat the cycle all over again. And I was just like, okay, sure. And I was a freshman, did not know what cross country was, to be honest. I knew that it was a long distance, but I didn't really know fully what it entailed, what practice would be like, and what it takes to fully be a cross country runner. So I'm like, okay, I'll do it. And to my surprise, I was actually really good at it. The first time that I competed, I think I placed top 5. I was running scared, if I'm being honest. They said go, the gun went off, and I just took off. And I would never run like that again because I think I took off a little too fast and I wasn't pacing myself, of course. I just really didn't know what to do, but I did really well, surprisingly. And I was really excited about that. And that just started my, I guess you could say, my fitness journey, but within athletics. So I ran for all 4 years in high school. I also cheered, and I also was a majorette as well. And so that was a lot of fun. So I've always been pretty active. I will say throughout my entire life, I have pretty much always been fit. There's been times where I haven't been as conditioned as I would like to be, but I've always had a slimmer build. And I want to talk a little bit about that just because even though I was considered fit, was I always fit? That's questionable. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the video. So in high school, ran track, was very active. After I graduated, I knew I did not want to run track in college just because as much as I did enjoy it, I did not enjoy practice. It was very intense. It was a lot. And I was like, you know what? I love running, but I'll run on my own. I'll create my own workouts. I'll do what I want to do. And so I did end up giving up track, and I went to the University of Kentucky my freshman year. And that's where I started, I guess, my more traditional fitness journey, where I started to actually work out on my own because I gained the freshman 15. When I got to college, I had never had Chick-fil-A prior to college. So when I got to college, I had Chick-fil-A. I was eating, they would have what's it called? Philly cheesesteak stations, and they had all types of food. And so I was eating all of that, gained some weight, and I was like, okay, this isn't okay. I have to figure something out. And so I started to learn how to work out. And the first person that I actually followed on YouTube, her name was Zuska Light, and she's incredible. She's in amazing shape. She's very lean. She has abs. She had all the things that I wanted at the time. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow her and I'm gonna follow her workouts, do what she does. And all of her workouts were like 30 minutes or so. She didn't believe in working out for a very long time. She wanted you to maximize the time that you had. So very much similar to like HIIT workouts. And I think her like, what is it called? Like her slogan or tagline was get into the best shape of your life. And when I tell you I got into the best shape of my life, I really did. Like she was fantastic. And it was a really good intro into just working out in general, because I didn't really know a lot about fitness. And so I learned a lot about calisthenics, and then I did more research on my own, of course, but that was just kind of like my introduction into just fitness in general. So my freshman year, I did a lot of that. I started to lose the weight. So then I ended up transferring schools, and I went to Eastern Kentucky University. And while I was there, I was working at their gym. And so I became even more exposed to fitness. So there was personal trainers there. There was group fitness instructors. There were all the things there. There was tons of equipment, and they had an indoor track. And so I was like, oh, this is perfect. So then I started to learn more about fitness. So I was able to ask the personal trainers, like, hey, what do I do for this? Like, what is this machine over here? And eventually I got so intrigued when it came to fitness, I decided to become a personal trainer. So I did get certified. So I am a certified personal trainer, group fitness instructor. I taught all different type of classes, from like spin to cardio classes, TRX, I don't know, you name it, I pretty much taught it. I don't really teach that much anymore. I might teach like here and there, but yeah, so I did all of that, and that was a lot of fun. And I was able to get a lot of clients because of that. And I got known as like the workout girl. Oh, that's the workout girl on campus. Like I was working out so much. I was working out like 2 times a day. In the morning, I would go to the gym and work out. In the evening, I would go to the gym and work out. I would run around campus. When I tell you, I was so disciplined and I was motivated, and I was probably the most disciplined and motivated I probably had ever been, or consistent, I should say, I had ever been in my entire fitness journey. Now that I'm looking back at that, I even cleaned up my diet, and I would like make food in my dorm and just try to eat as healthy as I possibly could. I think I was eating like 4 to 6 meals a day. Like I would make like large batch of food, and then I would just put it in small containers. So that kind of introduced me into the world of like meal prepping and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. I did it because I truly wanted to, and I was like interested in fitness and wellness and everything it entailed. And there was a lot of people around me that was interested in it as well. And so we all just kind of worked out together, and we stayed fit together throughout our college years. And so being in college, it was really, really easy. Well, I don't want to say it was really easy, but it was easy for me to stay in shape. And it was pretty easy for me to stay consistent because I had a community around me. I had the group fitness instructors, the personal trainers. I was also a personal trainer. And so it was pretty easy to stay on track. So then post-grad. So right after college, I still was doing really good. I felt like I still had a really good mindset. I wanted to stay in shape. I wanted to stay lean. So when I was in college, my goal was to get as lean as I possibly could. And I was able to do that. And I was like, all right, I worked really hard for this physique. I've been doing really good. I want to maintain this. And I was able to for the first few years. And I still had the discipline, even though like some days I wouldn't be very motivated. I felt like overall, I still had the motivation there. Even though it may not have been like 100% motivated, it was enough to keep me going. And then when there were days where it's like, okay, I really don't want to go to the gym, my discipline would kick in. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to the gym. I'm going to go run. I'm going to go do these things. Like I need to. So that worked out really well for a few years. And then things kind of changed. I think life. I think what happened was, now that I'm kind of thinking about this as I tell this story, I got really busy. I started to work multiple jobs, and I became very complacent. Working out got put on the back burner. But there was also a part of me, I'll be very honest, that was like, you know what, Shaela, you're already in shape. Like, it's okay if you miss a workout. You're already fit. So it's okay if you don't always eat healthy. You know, already have a certain physique. So it's okay if you don't do something, or if you do something or eat something that's not the best. Like, yeah, that mindset started to kick in, and that is not a mindset that you want to develop. And if it does start to kick in, like, quickly, like, snap yourself back to reality. I didn't do that. I just let it play out. So with that being said, I took full advantage of me being in shape, and I was just like, well, I've trained really hard for the past few years. I'm really busy right now, and I have multiple jobs. I'm personal training. I'm doing all these things. I'm getting my steps in. I'm walking a lot. Like, the job, like, I worked in retail for a little bit. And so I was doing a lot of walking. So I would get all my steps in. And then personal training, you're moving around a lot. And so I'm following my clients around the gym. So I'm getting steps in there. So I'm good. And I feel like I still look good, so I'm okay. So I had that mindset for a couple years. I hate to say it. I did. And I'm not going to say I did not work out, but I didn't work out as consistently as I should have. I might have worked out like for one day, and then the rest of the week I was like, oh, the lighting's changing. Hopefully you all can still see me. I think the sun is about to go down. So yeah, like, I would work out one day, and then the next day I'm like, I'm okay. Or I would work out twice a week, and then the rest of the week I'm like, I'm good. It's fine. And I say all that to say that it definitely caught up with me. It really, really did, because I was so inconsistent and I wasn't staying on track with my eating. I think it would have been different if maybe I would have stayed on track with eating healthy, even though I wasn't moving as much. My workouts weren't as intense or as long, or whatever the case may have been. It would have played out a little bit differently. But because I was eating whatever I wanted, and I wasn't training, I started to pick up weight. So my set point, which is my weight that my body is really easy, it's the easy weight for me to maintain, is about 147 pounds, 147 to 150. That is like the way where I don't have to work really hard to maintain it. It might fluctuate depending on the day, how much water, food, and stuff like that. But between 147 and 150, I'm good. If I want to go below that, I actually have to like put in some work to get a little bit lower. So I say all that to say that I got up to like 160 pounds. So 2 years, maybe 2 years is me exaggerating. It was definitely a year and some change. Oh, dang. I probably should have like memorized some dates. So let's just say a little over a year. So a year and a half or so, I was just doing whatever I wanted. I got up into like 160 pounds, and I felt it. I felt every bit of that weight. Like, I just felt like I couldn't move. And whenever I would run track, I would sprint and stuff, and I wanted to feel very light on my feet. I didn't want to feel like I was stomping, or like my weight was kind of weighing me down. And that's how I felt once I got closer to that 160. Now, 160 isn't a bad weight by any means, but just to kind of put in perspective, I am 5'4". So me at 160 pounds is a lot of weight for my body composition for me to carry. And whenever I would run or sprint or jog, I was already out of shape. So I was like huffing and puffing, but also I just felt heavy. I wasn't agile anymore. I couldn't really I didn't have that foot coordination anymore. I couldn't move side to side as much because I love doing sport and conditioning type of workouts, strength and conditioning type of workouts. And I wasn't able to do that anymore. And I just remember one day I was at the gym, I was working, and I looked in the mirror and I'm like, Shaela, you picked up a little weight. You did. I had on a t-shirt, and I just felt myself like, it was snug. Let's just say that. The t-shirt was pretty snug. And I was just like, yeah, it's time. It's time for you to get back into shape again. It is time for you to lose a little bit of weight. But I also noticed another thing. I had a lot of muscle mass, and that was from the years of just training consistently before I became very complacent. And I felt like for me, I love muscle. Don't get me wrong. Like, I like having muscle. I like the definition, but there's a certain way that I want my physique to look. And I felt like it didn't look that way anymore. It didn't look the way that I wanted it to look. And I wanted to lose some muscle. So that's what I did. I lost some muscle size and I lost fat as well. When I tell you losing muscle is probably just as hard as like losing weight or gaining weight, if not harder, it's very challenging. And it was a learning process because I really didn't know how to do it. I was like, well, maybe if I just like lower my body fat percentage, I won't look as muscular as I do right now. Because it could just be that my body fat percentage is really high. And I was like, I don't know though. So I started the process of losing muscle, which nobody wants. You don't want your muscle to, you don't want to go through like muscle atrophy because, you know, as you age and stuff, you naturally are going to lose a certain percentage of muscle. But I did it. It was definitely a process. It was a combination of me lowering my calorie intake, doing cardio, not lifting weights, but focusing more on calisthenics, higher reps. If y'all want a full like detailed video on exactly what I did, I can definitely share that with you all, but I can also share with you what I would do now because I honestly did not know what I was doing. I was just like, I need to lose a little bit of muscle. And then I got down to a size. I'll insert a picture if I can find one, because during this time I didn't take a lot of pictures because I wasn't the happiest with my physique. So I didn't take that many pictures. But once I got down to the size that I wanted to be, I was like, okay, this is perfect. The perfect body fat percentage, the perfect amount of muscle. I fit in my clothes just the way that I look in my clothes is exactly how I would want to look and stuff. And so I felt like I was finally at a place that I wanted to be. Well, then after I did lose weight, I then started to get questions about like, hey, Shaela, are you competing or have you thought about competing? Have you ever done a bodybuilding competition? And I'm like, why are people asking me this? I'm like, no, I don't even have that much muscle because in my mind, I'm like, bodybuilders are much bigger than I was at the time. And I'm like, no. But then I also had like, I'm not gonna lie, like this negative idea towards bodybuilders. I'm just like, I would never do that. Don't call me a bodybuilder. Like, I'm good. And then I just started to have some conversations with some people. I think I ended up meeting like a promoter or something at LA Fitness. I was working out one day there and he came up to me. He was like, oh, are you competing in the show that we have coming up? And I was like, no, I didn't know there was a show. And so we started to have this conversation and he told me a little bit more about it and exactly what bodybuilding is and what it entails and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's a little different than what I thought it was. And so I became more curious, but at the same time, I've always been the type of person that I want to do what's best for my body and I want to be healthy and I don't want to do anything that would damage it intentionally. So I was like, yeah, I don't think I want to compete. Well, fast forward, a little bit of time goes by and I'm starting to get these questions all over again. Shaela, are you competing? Have you thought about competing? You should do a show. And eventually I did give in. I was like, all right, you know what? Let me find a coach, talk to that coach and see if this is something that I would do. So I ended up finding one coach. He was actually recommended to me, but he wasn't a good fit. He was a competitor. However, just because somebody competes doesn't mean that they should be coaching others. And so that was the first time. And as a personal trainer, it was really easy for me to pick up on, even though I didn't know a lot about bodybuilding, I was easily able to pick up on like, okay, I don't think he has a lot of experience when it comes to just personal training in general. So it kind of led me to believe, I don't think he's ready to coach me. So then I ended up telling him like, hey, I don't think we're the best fit. It's not you, it's me kind of thing. And then I ended up going to another coach and we were a great fit. He still is absolutely amazing. He's an IFBB pro and he just really knows his stuff. People ask me all the time, they're like, what's bodybuilding like? Did you enjoy it? How do you feel about it? And it's a really like loaded question. I guess, so when it comes to bodybuilding, I'm going to back up a little bit. Remember how I talked about I wasn't very disciplined? I became very complacent at one point, and I gained some weight and stuff like that. Well, after I lost the weight and I lost a little bit of muscle mass as well, and I got to a physique that I was happy with, I was itching to like achieve another goal. I'm like, okay, I got a taste of this like fitness life again and I'm ready to achieve my next goal. What's next? And I did not know what was next. And so competing provided that next opportunity for me. Because I wanted to maintain my physique. I didn't want to lose everything that I worked for, but I also wanted to achieve a goal, because when you're working out and you don't have like a goal to reach, it's a quick and easy way for you just to easily like burn out, because it's like, okay, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? So I was like, all right, I'll try this, I'll compete. And my coach was great. He didn't believe in underfeeding his athletes, so I didn't have to worry about not eating enough calories. I got all like fruits, veggies, protein, all the nutrients that I needed. And if I didn't, I was taking like supplements and stuff as well to help with that. So I felt like I was comfortable with the meal plan that he gave me. I'm like, okay, that looks completely different than what I was thinking, because I thought I was going to literally eat like a rabbit. So he completely changed my perspective in that area, because his coach takes the same approach. So he takes the same approach with his athletes, but his training, oh my goodness, he does what's called high volume training. I did not realize that this was the way that bodybuilders trained. I was very much used to like 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps, or maybe 15, maybe 4 sets, but not 5 sets. The first time he told me to do 5 sets of 20 hack squats, I'm like, what? Who does this? Why would you do this to me? I was so tired. I was like, okay, this is the workout, right? This is it. It's over with. He's like, no, we're just getting started. I'm just like, oh my goodness. All right, walking lunges, 20 steps. And I'm like, 20? Okay. So then I do that. And then he's like, what else did we do? Like leg extensions. All right, 5 sets of 20 and increase your weight every single set. I'm just like, coach, I'm human. I'm not Superwoman. Like, oh my goodness, I was struggling. It was so hard. But then you get used to it. Then you like, so when you first start high volume training, you have to lower your weight until your body gets acclimated to that style of training. And then eventually the weight goes back up again and you can start lifting heavier. So the goal is to get as close to it as you possibly can, to push you past your comfort zone. Because a lot of times we stop and it's like, okay, I did 10 reps, I did 12 reps. But it's like, you probably could have done a few extra reps. And so that's something that bodybuilding helped me to do, was to push myself even harder than what I was used to. But also I started with calisthenics. And so I wasn't used to that style of training. Even though I started with calisthenics, I added in weights, I was using machines, I was using dumbbells, I still wasn't training as hard or as heavy. And so that was completely different style of training that I was used to doing, but I definitely enjoyed it and I appreciated the discipline that it brought as well into my life. So first I started with a bikini competition, and then I moved into a wellness competition, which that is the prep that I documented on my fitness channel. That's how I started my YouTube channel. So I do have a playlist. If you want to check it out, go to my playlist. And I believe it's like 18 weeks of me on prep. And I try to document as much as I possibly could. Throughout the process, I was not perfect by any means. I definitely cheated. I definitely had some cookies here and there that I shouldn't have had. I've overeaten a little bit more than what I should have eaten and stuff like that. But for the most part, I was very consistent and I completed the process. And that is exactly what I needed and what I wanted. I wanted a new goal to reach and I wanted to complete the entire process, because I just felt like I needed something. Like I felt like something was missing. And honestly, I needed a new goal. So that was really nice to do. The other side to bodybuilding, unfortunately, there is that side where the way you view your body starts to change a little bit. I'm pretty sure that I developed body dysmorphia. And the way that I saw my body in the mirror and the way that I actually looked was completely different. And this is something I actually talked to other athletes about, and they're like, yeah, we go through the exact same thing. And it's just unfortunate because, like, you are literally in the best shape of your life. You are probably the leanest you've ever been in your life, but yet you still feel like you're not good enough. Yet you still feel like your body is not good enough. And that just really took a toll on my mindset and my mental. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm overweight. Mind you, my set point is like 147, and I'm thinking I'm overweight at 135 pounds. Like, that doesn't make sense. You're not overweight. But because I wasn't in my 120s, like, I think my coach wanted me to get down to like 125-ish or something like that. I felt like I was overweight. I was like, no, I'm overweight. I'm too big. And when you tell yourself that over and over, you start to believe it. And while the world sees you as like, no, you're really lean, you have abs, you're muscular, you're this, you're that, you're fit, you're like, no, I'm not. Like, I have so much work to do. This isn't good enough. And that's just not a space that I wanted to stay in. And so I decided that after my second competition that I wasn't going to compete anymore. Or if I was kind of up in the air about it, but I'm pretty sure now that I'm probably not going to compete anymore. And my coach was great. He never made me feel insecure, or he actually like tried to change my mindset. He was like, no, Shaela, you're good. You're okay. This is what's happening. He would explain everything. Like, he was fantastic. It was just, no matter how many times somebody tells you like you're something, if you truly don't believe it, then you're not going to believe it. You're not going to see what they see. You're not going to see what other people see. You're going to see what you want to see. And so that's exactly what was happening. I was seeing this person that just had a lot of work to do, even though I was the leanest I had ever been. And so after competing, I was like, all right, I think I'm good. I think I'm good with this. I also was very burnt out. And I didn't want to work out anymore. And this is more recently. So I moved from Kentucky to Maryland 2 years ago. I kind of was like, I want to do something else. I want to get into a different industry. I don't know if I want to work out again. I don't know if I want to eat another piece of broccoli, rice, chicken, fish, whatever the case may be. I am completely over this. Like, this is too much. But there's also the other part of me that's like, no, Shaela, this is what you're passionate about. This is what you love. This is what you're good at. So let's continue to do it, but let's take baby steps. And so this is like me talking to myself, how to do a lot of self-talk. I'm just like, whew, this is a lot. So instead of like diving right back into fitness, getting back into a routine and designing my own like workout plan and sticking with it, I decided to do whatever I felt like doing. So I'm here in Maryland, I'm working out. They have some really nice gyms, and I'm just like, all right, I'm just going to go to the gym. I'm just going to do whatever I feel like doing for the day. So if I feel like walking, I'll walk. If I don't want to go work out in the gym and I want to go for a run, I'll do that. If I feel like doing an upper body workout, I'll do that. If I want to do body weight, I'll do that. So that's what I did for an extended period of time. I think for a few months, to be honest. Just to kind of get me excited about, one, to keep me moving because I didn't want to become sedentary again, but also to get me excited about working out. I think I even mentioned it in someone like my previous video, just losing my passion for fitness and wellness. And yeah, so it did help because I didn't feel like I was forced to do something. I'm like, I get to do what I want to do. I get to do what I enjoy doing. And I had to think back to things that I enjoy doing. I love running. I love calisthenics. I love being outdoors. So those were the things that I started to do. And I started to notice my passion for fitness started to come back again. It wasn't all the way there. I'm not going to say I was consistent, but it was definitely coming back because before I was about to throw in the towel. Where am I now in my fitness journey? So I want to go back to what I love doing. Me doing that consistently will start to bring the love of fitness back. But also I don't want to put too much pressure on how I should look or, you know, how my physique should look or where I should be like at this point in my fitness journey or anything like that. Thankfully, I will say I am at a place when it comes to my physique where I'm 100% happy. So I don't have any aesthetic goals. A lot of my goals are more like performance based. which is nice. I don't feel as much pressure with that. So yeah, I'm really just at this place where it's like I want to find my love for fitness all over again. And I really do feel like it's definitely coming back. It's just a process, baby steps, and I don't want to rush it or anything like that. So my next video is going to talk about my fitness goals for 2026 and what I do to, or what I plan on doing to make sure that I reach my fitness goals. And I just want to make sure that I maintain like a positive mindset like throughout it, because I think that's the thing that's changed the most from the time I started until now. Like my workouts don't have to be so intense all the time. I don't have to be like go, 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 go. I don't have to try to have like the biggest butt, the most ripped abs, be the leanest person in the room, be the fastest, whatever the case may be. I feel like I spent a lot of time focusing on that to where now that doesn't matter. Like I'm 100% content where I am. Really excited to take you all along my journey and share my 2026 goals with you all. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you some insight on my fitness journey, how I got to where I am today. And I will see you on my next video. Bye.